Hey guys, my name is Beast Reaper, and I've decided that I'm going to start recording YouTube videos, and mainly because I want to see where this can go. So, for some of my videos, they're going to be stories and experiences that I've had while working inside a jail as a corrections officer. I worked in a jail for 7 years, so I've got a decent amount of stories. But my other videos are going to be commentary based, or they're going to be games with my friends. Kind of all depends. Like the video in the background right now is going to be a video of me and my friend playing the new game Peak on the fifth hardest difficulty. So my story starts 3 months after high school. I kind of took a quote unquote summer vacation, and I applied to several jobs in that time. Nothing came back from it. I called places back trying to get an update. No one had an update for me. They told me they would call me back. Long story short of that, nobody answered. Until my mother told me that the jail was hiring. Now, a little backstory on this jail: they didn't allow 18-year-olds to work there as corrections officers. I don't even think as any staff. And that all changed that year when I had applied a few months prior to that. They got rid of their ban on 18-year-olds. So I applied. Within 2 days, I was getting a call from them. And they were giving me all the information I needed. They emailed me stuff to fill out, all that fun stuff. So during the time up until the academy started, I was working out, trying to get in shape, what have you, even though I wasn't terribly off. But I still wanted to be ready because I had a feeling that the academy was going to be tough and physically draining. When I got in the academy, there was about 8 people in my class, I want to say there was. And everybody, for the most part, pretty much knew each other. A lot of people had done control rooms before the academy started. I didn't know that was a thing. Otherwise, I would have done the same thing. But some people in the class knew each other from they worked at the prison, so there was just immediate talk amongst everybody in the class. And then there was me sitting in the back. I didn't know anybody. I didn't really like talking to anybody. I was more of an introvert at that time, and I just wanted to keep to myself essentially. Uh, when it came to the academy itself, at the end of each week we had a test, or we were at least supposed to, and I'll get into that here in a minute. And then after a week where we had a test, the following week it was physical training, and that consisted of defensive tactics and scenarios when it comes to inmates or situations, just for us to kind of get like a feel. I wouldn't say the academy was the best with its defensive tactics, but I'm only saying that because prior to this, while I was in school, I had done martial arts. I did martial arts from 8 until 16 and got my black belt. Even got my dad to join at one point and got him up to a blue belt. So when it came to the defensive tactics section, I could not wrap my head around some of the things they wanted to train us on and how to, certain techniques, because it was contradicting what my body already knew. I had asked the instructor or the teacher, quote unquote, if I could utilize what I had learned from martial arts, and they essentially told me no. for legal reasons, I'm assuming, and that they can only teach the stuff that is approved through the state when it comes to law enforcement. So, I said earlier that we were supposed to take tests. My two teachers, we had the main general instructor, and then we had another general instructor who was more of a sub instructor. And they were always getting called for something, like a backup call that was right around the corner from us where the classroom was, or something was going on the intake floor, which is where the new people come in and they get booked in and everything from the streets. So they would have to go run and deal with that, or they would have to go deal with something around the corner because they were also officers. So when it came to us taking a test, we took two in the time span. I think our academy was 2 months, and it changed over the last couple of years. So for our 2 months, we took two tests, and we did our physical training that all we really need was one general instructor for. But when it came to the test, both of our general instructors were gone doing other stuff. So essentially, long story short of that, for the academy, we all passed. One of them in my academy, one of the other officers, ended up leaving, but for good reason. They ended up having a baby. Starting out on the floor, however, you go through 4 weeks of FTO training, or field training officer training, and you get paired with a field training officer for 4 weeks. You're supposed to learn the control rooms, which oversee the housing units, and one control room watches over 2 housing units from what we called the bubble. And then you worked the floor. You were one officer working 2 housing units. Each housing unit, if you're on the upper floor, one housing unit can hold 74 people. So you're running, most of the time, 100 plus inmates, and it's just you. And then you have your control operator, and that's it. So the units were set up to have an officer inside of them. The jail, however, did not have the staffing for that. So they put it on one officer to manage 100 plus inmates. And with the different levels, you have different charges, for lack of better terms. It's essentially the 5th floor was for medium to high security. The 3rd floor, which was the ground floor, that was for misdemeanors and essentially short time stay. That also had the 2 female units on it. Then you have the 1st floor, which is your max security and your protective custody units. With starting out, you're not so much going to be working the 1st floor. You do get trained how to work it, and the 1st floor only has 2 sets of units in it. That is a 2-man post. You don't get a choice. The 3rd floor and the 5th floor are where most new officers are going to be staying for a while, until usually around your year mark. But during your FTO training, you go down to the 1st floor, 5th floor, 3rd floor, it doesn't matter. They put you anywhere, and it's your FTO's choice. The first 2 weeks, you're essentially shadowing on the floor, and then you go from shadowing on the first 2 days to you are working the units and your FTO is following behind you. For the third and fourth week, you are working control rooms. You learn how to do logs, run the panels to open doors, answer the intercom, answer questions inmates might have. You answer the phone that's up there. The entire time you're learning radio calls, and you're learning, we had John numbers, that's essentially our badge number. So you're learning everybody on your shift through their John number. I had a notebook the entire time that I kept in my shirt pocket. I filled it out completely. And even after FTO training, I still had that book on me up until a couple months. And then I got rid of it because I didn't need it anymore. I learned what I needed to do. But ultimately, it wasn't terrible. And this video isn't going to be extensively long. It's basically just an intro to what I want to make this channel and to give people an insight. So that's why I decided on this video just to give a little tidbit about the starting out, not so much getting into the nitty gritty for the crazy parts, the fights, and, you know, medical backup stuff. I just wanted to give an intro to how it starts, kind of the way that I got it ran down to me when I started, and we're gonna go from there. Thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful day.